I started off on my own, then I got respected. Put all my time into the grind and then I got connected. A few done turned their backs on me and I felt neglected. Now I'm moving on without them unapologetic.
Alright, what's poppin', Truth family? Welcome to another edition of Unapologetic Truth, the channel that speak the truth and don't apologize for it, because why? The truth never apologizes. Okay, now we're gonna get to the new normal, right? For America. Well, not just America, but around the world. Okay? I mean, as you can tell on my screen, how things will be operated, you know, in this new normal. But it's gonna come to a point where like restaurants and stuff you're not gonna be able to go to like restaurants and sit down and eat and enjoy your meal, you know, have a nice time out with your lady or, you know, or what have you. But they're gonna start bringing food to the curb like they was doing back then at the shutdown. They were doing curbside assistance, where they're gonna do the same thing, but it's gonna be magnifying 100, right? Alright, now let me show you why I feel that things is not gonna go back to the same as it was before all these things happen. Of course you know what I'm talking about because you see what's going on the screen. I really can't say nothing about it because the algorithm that YouTube uses, if anyone says that, they'll take your video down and I guess give you a strike. So you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, we're gonna get to why I feel that it's never gonna go back to the same it was before this stuff happened, right? So let's get to the first video.
Hello, I'm Dr. Yella Hewins-Martin with Medical News Today. Global media has been abuzz with news and speculations about B.1.1.7, a new variant of SARS-CoV-2 that scientists first identified in the United Kingdom. In a special feature article, we look at what we know so far about B.1.1.7 and what questions scientists are still trying to answer. The B.1.1.7 variant has 23 mutations, 6 of which do not cause any changes. Of the 17 mutations that do change the virus,
so now it has 23 mutations. Now it has 23 new mutations. Let's see what some of these mutations do.
8 affect the spike protein, which the virus uses to infect cells. One particular change, which scientists call N501Y, causes a change in the amino acid sequence at position 501 in the spike protein. This is located in the part of the spike that interacts with the ACE2 receptor on our cells to allow the virus to enter. 2 studies, which have not yet undergone peer review, have suggested that B.1.1.7 can pass from person to person more easily because of its mutations. The scientists estimate a 50 to 75% increase in transmissibility. What this means for public health measures is not entirely clear at the moment. There has been concern that the vaccines that are currently being rolled out across many countries may not work as well against B.1.1.7. A study that...
So you mean tell me that you giving these people this stuff and it's not even gonna work? So you mean tell me? See, now I feel like that you're trying to draw the attention away from the first one because a lot of people have passed on from getting it. Not 19, but the thing that gave you to cure it. Even a doctor has passed on from getting it. You don't see the agenda behind this? I mean, if you don't see the agenda behind this, then you really is blind. You really not awake to anything. Let's get back to the video. See what else she says.
Pfizer and their collaborators published last week provides hope. Although it has not undergone peer review yet, it shows that antibodies from people who have had the vaccine can neutralize the virus with the N501Y mutation in the lab. Other experts have also suggested that COVID-19 vaccines will still work against this variant and further emerging variants. Scientists, pharmaceutical companies, and public health bodies will continue to monitor how SARS-CoV-2 evolves. This will allow them to adapt their strategies to help the world bring the pandemic to an end. For more updates, visit our website and follow us on our social platforms. I'm Dr. Yella Hewings-Martin. Thank you.
Alright. But you see number 2 is up. So this is one of the reasons why I feel it's not going to go back to normal. Okay. Let me show you what our new normal is.
On January 6th, thousands of rioters, many coming from Trump's Save America rally, stormed the U.S. Capitol as Congress met to certify the 2020 presidential election results. The insurrection resulted in multiple deaths, including an officer, dozens of injuries to law enforcement and rioters, ongoing arrests, and vandalism across the Capitol. Here's how the day unfolded. That morning, thousands gathered at the ellipse near the White House to hear the president and his allies speak. Shortly before noon, President Trump addressed the crowd.
We will never give up. We will never concede. We're going to walk down to the Capitol because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
See, if you really awaken to what's going on in your surroundings, you will see that all this stuff is tied in together. It's not one incident and then so happened another incident. It's all tied in together. 19 and what's going on at the Capitol, that bombing that happened, all this stuff ties in together because of the agenda. If you don't know about what the agenda they got going on, then yes, you most definitely not awake. The New World Order is on the horizon. It's unfolding right in front of your face, whether you a denier or not. It's unfolding in your face. But it's really for people who has eyes to see and ears to hear. Because you can look at something and actually not see it for what it is. You can hear something, but really not understand what you are hearing. It's a difference. Hearing, just to hear, or hearing with understanding. There's a difference. A lot of y'all better wake up.
Following his speech, the crowd then marched to the U.S. Capitol building, where initially only Capitol Police were stationed. Additional MPD officers would be called to assist.
This is the new normal.
At 12:53, a large crowd approached approximately 5 Capitol Police officers standing in a fenced-off entrance near the Peace Monument. According to ABC News sources that day, many Capitol Police were armed only.
And oh yeah, of course, this was staged for the agenda, right? You know the reason why it was staged. Because of this, guess who's still in the office? They supposed to have been gone. It's supposed to have been a transition of power. Let's get it.
With mace and their sidearms, as the crowd pushed the barricades over, the police were quickly overwhelmed. In contrast to other events in D.C. last summer, additional state and federal law enforcement was not pre-staged ahead of the riot. Within minutes, protesters began storming other entrances to the Capitol, breaking through barricades and continuing to push further toward the building. Inside, Congress began their session with Vice President Pence presiding.
Are there any objections to counting the certificate of vote of the state of Arizona?
I will vote to respect the people's decision and defend our system of government as we know it.
During this time, explosive devices were reported outside the DNC and RNC headquarters. Meanwhile, rioters continued to surround the Capitol, taking photos and waving flags. One video shows rioters streaming past barricades with officers standing by. An audio message from around 2 p.m. warned congressional staffers and reporters to stay away from windows and doors. Between 2 and 2:30, rioters broke through multiple entrances and began pushing further into the building. By 2:30, rioters breached security and made their way into the Capitol through windows and doors. Crowds began pouring into the rotunda, crypt, statuary hall, and other locations. The chamber floor, the House recessed and told members to lock down and shelter in place.
Now see, this right here is not. This is just the beginning of what's gonna happen. See, you thought 2020 was something, with all the murders and all the governmental corruption. All of this stuff right here is gonna roll over to 2021, but it's gonna be worse than ever. If you're not ready and prepared for what's gonna happen, then you put yourself in that position. Because you got many of people like me out here trying to tell you the truth and trying to tell you what's going on, but a lot of you don't want to listen. But when stuff hits the fan, then you're going to listen. But it's going to be too late because you should have already been prepared. Just watch what happens.
They broke the glass? Everybody stay down!
Around 2:45, members of the Capitol security team barricaded the entry doors to the chamber. Congress members retrieved gas masks from underneath their seats, and tear gas has been released into the rotunda. Outside the House chamber in a stairwell, protesters attempted to get into a secure hallway. One woman, Ashley Babbitt, was shot by a Capitol policeman and later died. Around 3 p.m., one video shows an officer stuck in a doorway as rioters try to push through. By now, hundreds of rioters occupy the Capitol, roamed the halls, sat at Speaker Pelosi's desk, and vandalized the building. As the insurrection continued, support from more than 18 local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies began to arrive. They tried to dispel the violence using tear gas and flashbangs to move the protesters out of the building. By mid-afternoon, many political leaders and allies of President Trump called on the president to make a statement and denounce the protest.
I tried to call the president immediately, and I've tried a number of different ways to get him.
I call on President Trump to go on national television now to fulfill his oath and defend the Constitution and demand an end to this siege.
At 4:17, more than 2 hours after the violence began, President Trump tweeted a minute-long pre-recorded video speaking directly to the protesters.
You have to go home now. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you.
Earlier in the day, Mayor...
Now, so you think that it's over, right? Okay. martial law is on the horizon. They need these type of things to happen so they can call for a state of emergency, so they can call for martial law. If you don't know what martial law is, you need to look it up, because it's imperative that you know what it is. Curfews is going to be set in place. People who break curfew will be arrested because they're going to enforce the curfew in all states, cities, towns. So, you better get ready, man, because 2021, it's finna, you know how the roller coaster, you go up a roller coaster, you go all the way to the top, and then when it gets to the top, it curves back, and then when it comes down, it goes down super fast. That's how things is. It's slowly building up. They set everything in place, and everything is slowly building up. Slowly building up until they hit the top, which is the climax. And zoom, everything gonna come down fast on you. You just gonna blindside you. You ain't gonna know what hit you. But you're gonna remember that you ran into one of these videos, and you're gonna be like, wow, if I would have listened back then. But see, I've been saying this for years, though. I've been saying this for many years. If you follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, I've been doing this for many years. You've ran across one of my videos, even from my last YouTube that I had, that they shut down because I put out too much incriminating information. So, let's see. Let me show you what else is going on. Okay, guys. Okay. Let's take a look at this right here.
A brawl broke out in the middle of Target over a face mask. Two men accused of assaulting a store security guard who told them they couldn't be there without a face covering. They are now facing charges. The whole incident caught on security camera. NBC4's Kim Tobin has more now from Van Nuys.
Good afternoon, everyone. And this is one of the incidents where the employees were trying to enforce that mask order here inside the Target store in Van Nuys, and then it quickly turned violent when the suspects were seen attacking those store employees, and it was all caught on camera.
Surveillance video from inside the Target off Sepulveda Boulevard shows two men being escorted outside the store.
Two individuals came inside, which we later identified as transient, without a mask on.
But right before they reach the exit, one of the men turns around and punches a security guard in the face. The other employees jump in, fighting back. LAPD says the victim who was punched broke his arm as he was knocked to the ground. The two men, identified as 31-year-old Philip Hamilton and 29-year-old Paul Hamilton, were taken into custody shortly after. LAPD says they're seeing an increase in calls about people not wearing masks, and they don't want everyday shoppers to get involved.
So you're not going to be able to go nowhere without having a mask. Period. Nowhere. Soon they're gonna make it to a point where you can't be outside without having a mask on. If you get caught without a mask, it could be you could be charged with a crime, and they might can hit you with a felony with that. This is the normal, man. Y'all wake up, man.
Even though it's a requirement to wear a mask, we're asking allow the police department and private businesses to handle those types of situations because they are starting to escalate.
Target shopper Michael Colstock says he's seen people get upset about having to wear a mask, and he feels for the employees and the managers who try to enforce the rules.
These days, what the crazy world, the crazy time we live in, I mean, what's going to happen if you say something?
LAPD says the suspects were arrested for felony battery charges and they posted bail. Police say they hope these attacks are not part of a growing trend as they don't want to see anyone else get hurt. Reporting from Van Nuys, Kim Tobin, NBC4.
Watch this, though. I'm going to save this one for later.
What are we going to do?
I'm gonna save this one here for later. But now watch this.
Parents need to be reassured that we have overwhelming scientific evidence that the flu vaccine is safe and effective.
I don't like the commercials, but yeah, gotta get ready. This is the new normal. You can get beat up, maybe even killed for not wearing a mask. I'm just saying.
I have seen a lot of staff on platform 15. None of them. I've got you on film. I've got you on film. Excuse me, I've got you on film.
I guess he didn't want to wear a face mask.
Knocked him out.
He got mad. I guess he didn't want to wear a face mask.
He's bleeding.
He sneaked out.
Yes, they're doing that. Well, no, you need to do it as well. Don't move. Don't move. You want to stop this, you know? Don't move. Don't move. Don't move.
Hold on. Look at this.
It's absolutely insane to me because it's all about a mask and it didn't need to get that way.
When Riley Lansford boarded a plane in Mesa, Arizona yesterday, headed to Provo, she expected a pretty typical flight. A typical flight that included wearing a mask. What she didn't...
This happened on an airplane. Now you know it's getting serious when you thousands of feet over the ground and you getting mad at somebody over a face mask. That's why.
Expect was this. A fight broke out on that Allegiant flight after a passenger sitting in the row behind Riley argued with the flight attendant over wearing a face mask. He was wearing a face shield, but according to Allegiant's policy, face shields may be worn in addition to a face covering, but not as an alternative.
They made it clear. 100%.
Riley says another passenger sitting next to her turned around and started heckling the man.
At first I thought it was banter between us friends, because it was kind of weird, but then you quickly learn that the words that they were saying to each other were not friendly.
Eventually, the flight attendant attempts to escort the passenger who wouldn't wear a mask off the plane, but the guy next to Riley continued to egg him on.
Then I just hear and see like one swing of an arm, and I just bolt to the front of the plane with the flight attendant. At first he's kind of choking or, has a hold of the guy's neck, and then you see him pulling his hair and just like hitting him in the back. I was right next to them. I didn't want to get in the middle of that.
The fight was broken up after about 30 seconds. Riley hopes her next flight won't be quite as eventful.
Well, if you're buying a plane ticket, you must follow the rules. Or you gotta drive somewhere.
Now, follow the rules or drive somewhere, which you still have to wear a face mask. This is the new normal. You're not gonna be able to go anywhere or go outside without wearing one, period. But it's an agenda behind it. It's all about control, right? Let's get back to this right here. Which one was it? Yeah, this one right here. Alright, now here's a commercial again. So I'm gonna mute it while
how about a year in
commercial play, right? But a lot of y'all have to be still asleep, and I do believe that the election was stolen. I do. Hold on, here we go. Let's get it.
Well, Disneyland is getting ready to open its doors for the first time in months.
Yeah, the resort isn't quite ready for park visitors just yet, but it will host Orange County's first large-scale COVID-19 vaccination site. Let's go to Tony Guinier live there in Anaheim with much more on how Tony, the happiest place on earth, plans to help out.
Well, Daniela, if you are a fan of Disneyland, then you already know that it has been closed for nearly a year, and there has been absolutely no reason to come here until now. I want to show you something. There are a series of tents set up a short distance from where we are right now. Here's the view from News Chapter 4. No confirmation that this is where the vaccines will be given, but Disneyland Resort has signed on to serve as a location for the first COVID vaccine super pod in Orange County. POD, an acronym for Point of Dispensing. Think of it as a vaccination supercenter, a venue large enough to accommodate a huge number of people at one time. Once up and running and fully operational, it's expected to have capacity to vaccinate thousands of people in just one day. We saw the demand last week at the Orange County Fire Authority. The vaccine is only being given or offered to people living and working in Orange County who are 75 years old or older, and anyone who is in any tier of Phase 1A in the state's vaccine rollout plan, basically law enforcement, first responders working with high-risk communities. In most cases, employers will notify you of when it's your turn to get vaccinated. Appointments will be required if you're 75 or older, possibly not working. Targeted community outreach will be done to provide you information. And to get the vaccine, when you show up, you must show proof of identification and documentation of eligibility. Coming up live, all of this is coming together so quickly from county to county. Again, this is the first super pod to be opened in Orange County. In total, I believe they are going to have 5. I'm Tony Guinier, reporting live from Anaheim 4 Today in LA.
Tony, thank you. And remember, starting today, you'll no longer be able to get COVID testing at Dodger Stadium. Tony was telling us about that yesterday. That site is now being transitioned into a mass vaccination center set to be up and running by the end of the week. Dodger Stadium set to handle about 12,000 vaccines administered every single day. So where do you stand in the COVID vaccination line? You can actually go to our website right now, NBCLA.com. We have an interactive tool to break down the timeline depending on where you live, how old you are, where you work, and the health risks you can see.
Let me tell you this, soon they're going to have to where you need, they're going to have to where you need some kind of proof that you had that done before you enter anywhere. It's the new normal, y'all. Like I was telling y'all, things are never gonna go back to where it was before all of this. Remember the last video I was telling you about the domino effect. It's happening. Anyway, that's my time for the day. I appreciate you, Truth family, for subscribing to my channel. Invite more people to subscribe to my channel. I got more content coming, and it's gonna be informative. I give shout outs to all the YouTubers out there. You know, they doing their thing, but when it comes to the truth, this is the home of the truth right here. So you want that good content? Keep on the up and up. Hit that notification bell and click all so you can get all of my content as soon as it drops. And if you want this channel to grow more, hit the cash out, man. It's in the description box below. That way I can get better quality things, better quality camera, better quality microphone, better quality, y'all support all these other ones. They ain't really talking about nothing that's going on this earth. So you boys some love, and I'm gonna show you some love. Give you a great shout out when I do. You'll be the first to know when I do giveaways. I did a giveaway before. I gave away $50 before, to the winner. This time we're gonna do another giveaway. Probably another few weeks we're gonna do a giveaway. And yeah. So trust me, we give back. So till next time, True Family, this Unapologetic Truth signing out.
I started off on my own, then I got respected. Put all my time into the grind and then I got connected. A few done turned they backs on me and I felt neglected. Now I'm moving on without them unapologetic.